What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another video on Jameson Paradise, baby. Now, today I'm going to talk about how do you know yourself? What do I mean by know yourself? If you were to ask the question, who am I? What answer would arise out of your mind? Is it your name? Is it where you came from? I wonder, do you know who you are? Do you have any interest in knowing who you are behind all the different thoughts that we have clouding our minds? If so, I'm going to teach you guys a very simple, easy, effective method for getting to know your true self. Now, in order to know your true self, in order to become self-aware, we have to understand that in order to know ourselves, we have to know what we are not. Just as in order to know what you want in your life, you have to know what you don't want. Does that make any sense? It's sort of like black and white. In order to know white, you have to know black. In order to know black, you have to know white. So reality works in a sort of contrasting, contradictory manner. In order to get to know ourselves, we have to observe those things which we know are not us. However, if we don't know who we are, then we're going to call ourselves things that we're not. And we're going to act out of our true character. That's how most of us live today. Most of us, we see thoughts and then we take these thoughts as ourselves, when ultimately they're just thoughts. Thoughts are forms of communication that happens within our mind. It's a sense. Just as touch, taste, smell, hearing. But that's just saying as if you were to smell something good and say, I am that good. Whatever it is you just smell. That's what most of us are doing today. So by understanding this simple truth that we are not thoughts, we can begin to look at our thoughts as separate from us. Now, this does not mean we change thought at all. We're not changing anything here. What we're doing is becoming aware of what we're not, because by doing that, then we can see the contrast, meaning that if we see that, okay, we're not these thoughts, yet we can still see the thought. If I could look at this wall right here, if I could look at this wall, then it would be obvious to me that, okay, I must not be this wall because I'm looking at it. However, if you're not aware that you're looking at something, then I could look at this wall but not even be aware that I'm looking at the wall. And so I would be caught up thinking I am the wall. I know that's kind of a weird example, but literally that's how we operate with our thoughts. So we need to observe our thoughts. We need to become aware of it so that we can differentiate and separate from them. That way we can completely embody the truth of what thoughts are, which thoughts is just a way for us to become aware of other things. Just like you have sound. It's a dimension of awareness. It allows me to have speaking abilities. There's different realms, different existences that we live on as human beings. Just like they say we are human, meaning we are physical, and we are beings as well, meaning there is some sort of ethereal, energetic force that we can call ourselves. So now that we know that we need to differentiate and separate from our thoughts, this is what we do in order to do that. So here's the practical part. I want you to sit there, or you could stand, but it helps when you're starting this out, it helps just to sit there so you can have a calm energy about it. Sit there, and again, you have to try your best. I will say, if you've never done this before, it can seem very difficult and challenging at first, just because you're not used to this form of awareness. You may have never looked at your thoughts before, actually looking directly at your thought. It sounds insane to someone that has never done that before. What you do as you're sitting there is do your best to just look at your thoughts. Again, I'm going to say it's going to feel kind of weird at first because we were never taught these things. We were never taught how to, we were never taught even that we had the ability to look at our thoughts. But just set that intention as you're sitting there. Keep trying to look at your thoughts. Again, I'm already going to tell you right now, you're probably going to fail a lot of times. You're probably going to get sidetracked and lost. So the key here, when you're looking at your thoughts, take the thought as a thought, but nothing more than that. Do not label the thought as good or bad. Do not label the thought. Don't add any extra fluff to it. Just keep watching the thought. And if you do add extra fluff to it, that's okay too. But watch that as well. Watch all of it. Observe all of it as if they were separate things. Observe the thought as if you know you could pick it up. Imagine this was a thought right here and you can pick it up. As if the thought was an actual thing. Because it is. If you can observe your thoughts, you will start to see that your true self shall begin to shine because you're not being caught up in some ideal version of who you think you are. You may still have that. I'm not saying you're getting rid of thoughts. It's just that you're adding another dimension to your existence. A dimension that has always been there, yet you have not been aware of it. And this dimension is where your true self exists. The part of you that is in a third-person perspective. You're existing in a third and first-person perspective at the same time. So on one hand, you're looking down and you're watching your experience. At the same time, you're also experiencing at the same time. And by doing this, you will naturally master your energy. You will naturally know how to be yourself. You will just know without having to define what it means to be yourself. Alright? So that's it. Basically, learn and practice. It's a practice. You have to practice this if you really want to know yourself. There are so many benefits to this. I will not even go into the amount of benefits in this video because it would take a long time to go over that. However, I will say one huge benefit is by getting to know yourself, knowing that you are not these thoughts, these feelings, these sensations, by getting to know that, you get to actually enjoy life as it is. And you get the most out of life. You get to be at your best version. which you already are at your best version. You may have just not realized it yet. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Have a beautiful day. Please leave a thumbs up. And also, I'd love if you subscribed as well. I'm going to be posting major amounts of content, major amounts of secret knowledge. If you want knowledge, if you want power, if you want control over your life, real control, then please watch my videos, subscribe, and yeah, have a blessed day.